Over the course of their lengthy lives, the Stoics perfected the art of comprehending human nature, including the intricate psychology of women. They held that true power came from mastering oneself and one's interactions with the outside world, not from attempting to control others. This age-old wisdom can be applied to contemporary circumstances, particularly those involving intimacy and attraction. The topic of discussion in today's episode is how to make a lady so alluring that 99% of girls will find it impossible to refuse your advances. We're exploring the psychological and emotional elements that contribute to these moments' potency, from recognizing the appropriate body language to comprehending the tiny clues that fuel desire, rather than merely offering advice on physical intimacy. You will learn the skill of connection in each chapter. To get the whole picture, watch through to the conclusion. If you find this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below with your thoughts. If you have any stories to tell, let's begin with Chapter 1. You sit near. More than just reducing your physical distance from a lady, sitting close to her creates an environment of intimacy that transcends words. This intimacy paves the way for a deeper relationship, one that is based on nonverbal communication and delicate psychological cues. By choosing to sit close, you are intentionally entering her personal space, which, when done well, can create an attraction that words alone might not be able to. The confidence with which you sit close is one of the most important factors. Here, confidence is crucial. The moment can be swiftly ruined by any hint of uncertainty or anxiety. Women are very sensitive to the energy you give off, and any ambiguity can make them uncomfortable. The Stoics, who were experts in controlling their emotions and exercising self-control, would stress how crucial it is to remain composed in these kinds of circumstances. They hold that a man should always be in complete control of himself, especially when he is near someone he wants to be with. This entails maintaining composure and controlling your body language. By sitting close with assurance and ease, you show that you are at ease with intimacy, which can help her feel more relaxed and receptive to connecting with you. However, it's crucial to keep in mind that sitting close isn't just about where you physically sit. Place yourself. It's also about how you position your body in relation to hers. Lean in slightly, just enough to suggest interest, but not so much that it feels intrusive. This slight lean can convey warmth and engagement without coming across as overly eager or desperate. Your body language should be open and relaxed, facing her but not crowding her space. This delicate balance between closeness and respect is what makes your presence feel inviting rather than overwhelming. When done right, this can make her more receptive to your presence and more likely to engage with you on a deeper level. Additionally, sitting close allows you to pick up on her subtle cues more easily. This is where your observational skills come into play. Notice how she reacts to your proximity. Does she, leaning closer, maintain eye contact, or perhaps play with her hair? These are all signs that she's comfortable and possibly even attracted to you. Being able to recognize these cues is essential because they will guide your next moves. Another significant benefit of sitting close is the chance it provides to create a shared moment. If she is expressing good signs, it's an invitation to keep developing the relationship. If she appears uneasy or aloof, it can be a clue to give her a little more room. The more closely you are, the more you can establish a sense of shared experience, whether it's watching something together, whispering a private joke, or just feeling each other's warmth. This shared space is where connections are strengthened and where the seeds of attraction are planted. By being aware of her reaction and keeping your cool, you can create a space that she wants to return to. In the end, sitting close to a woman is about more than just physical proximity. It's about creating a space where intimacy can flourish. It's about being confident, respectful, and perceptive so that she feels both intrigued and at ease in your presence. By perfecting the art of sitting close, you create the conditions for a deeper connection that can result in genuine reaction. Power originates within, and by using that inner strength, you may build strong relationships with other people, especially the ladies you want. Chapter 2. Maintain her interest. The Stoics, who were experts at mastering the art of conversation and human connection, would advise that this is where you suddenly show your intellectual depth and emotional intelligence. Start by guiding the conversation into topics that are interesting, but not too heavy, light-hearted. Banter and intriguing questions and shared experiences can keep the dialogue flowing and enjoyable. Maintaining a woman's interest when you're sitting close sets the stage, but it takes more than just being physically close to her to keep her attention. The more you can keep her involved in the conversation, the more she will associate your presence with positive emotions, which is crucial for helping her feel connected to you. This isn't about impressing her with lofty tales or attempting to control the conversation, but rather about creating a relaxed atmosphere where she feels eager to contribute. When you're sitting near to her, utilize subtle motions to support what you're saying. Body language is also quite important for keeping her interested. When presenting a point, a little touch on the arm might improve the connection without demonstrating that you are paying attention or establishing intense eye contact. The Stoics valued nonverbal communication and recognized that sometimes what you don't say is just as significant as what you do say. Another important component of keeping her interested is listening, which you may demonstrate by your body language, which should convey confidence and attentiveness. When she shares something, thoughtfully respond and ask follow-up questions that demonstrate your genuine interest. This not only keeps the conversation going, but also makes her feel valued and understood, which can strengthen the emotional bond. Women are frequently more attracted to men who listen intently than those who simply wait for their turn to speak. The Stoics would advise you to engage in active listening since it fosters rapport and shows empathy and respect as the discussion goes on. Don't be scared to add a little mystery. Finally, be mindful of the balance between speaking and silence. Women are naturally curious beings, so by keeping some parts of your life a secret, you create a sense of intrigue that draws her in. Share interesting aspects of your life, but don't reveal everything at once. Leave some details vague or imply that there's more to your story than what you're sharing. This subtle play of withholding information can fuel her curiosity and increase her interest in getting to know you better. When you're sitting near to someone, a moment of tension or expectation can be created that is quite alluring. Sometimes a comfortable silence can be just as potent as words. In summary, keeping her interested while sitting close is about more than just conversation. It's about creating an experience that is intellectually stimulating, emotionally fulfilling, and slightly mysterious. By mastering the art of engaging her mind and emotions, you increase her investment in the interaction, increasing her attraction to you. Chapter 3. The Stoics valued the art of silence because they recognized that the deepest connections are frequently formed in these quiet moments. By embracing silence, you allow the tension to build, making the next words you say even more impactful. As you continue to keep her interested, it's crucial to progressively bring flirtation into the conversation. The Stoics would advise that genuine confidence comes from within, and that your flirtation should be a natural extension of your self-assurance, rather than a forced or desperate attempt to win her over. To begin, increase the intensity of your eye contact when you're sitting close to her. Maintaining eye contact can create a deeper sense of intimacy and connection. Flirting is an art that, when done correctly, can create a powerful connection and increase her attraction to you. However, it's crucial to approach this step with subtlety and finesse to ensure that your advances are welcomed and reciprocated. Allow your eyes to stay a bit longer than normal, and don't be scared to smile a little. This nonverbal clue, which expresses interest without using words, is frequently the first stage of flirtation. The Stoics valued subtlety and understood that the most impactful messages are frequently those that are not expressed. After you have established a comfortable level of eye contact, start mocking the other person in a light-hearted manner. It demonstrates that you are comfortable making light-hearted jokes about her and yourself without taking things too seriously, which is a fantastic way to establish a playful and seductive mood. In addition to verbal teasing, use some light-hearted casual touches. For example, if she jokes or says something amusing, lightly touch her arm or shoulder and you laugh. These small gestures can establish a physical connection that enhances the verbal teasing. The key is to keep the teasing light and never go beyond anything that could be interpreted as mean-spirited. The goal is to make her smile, laugh, and feel comfortable in your company. One touch can convey interest and establish a feeling of intimacy, making it an effective seduction tactic. The Stoics. A person who values human connection would advise you to be conscious of how your contact is received and to pay attention to her body language. If she reacts favorably, you can proceed. If she appears uncomfortable, you should set your boundaries and back off. You can begin to offer praises as the conversation gets more flirty, but they should be genuine and targeted rather than general or excessively ostentatious. Give her a praise on something you truly value, like her smile. Her sense of humor or something distinctive about her sincere praises might help her feel valued and special, which is a crucial component of creating attraction. Lastly, as the flirtation gets more intense, start to create tense moments. You can do this by pausing the conversation to just stare at her and let the moment linger. These pauses can generate excitement and anticipation, which makes the exchange feel more intimate and charged. In conclusion, the Stoics recognize that stress is a normal aspect of human contact and that, when handled well, it can intensify feelings and strengthen bonds. By gradually increasing eye contact, incorporating playful teasing, and using light touches, you can create a flirtatious atmosphere that strengthens the connection and increases her attraction to you. Introducing flirtation is about striking a balance between confidence and subtlety, so she feels both intrigued and valued. Chapter 4. With a gentle touch. Touching someone can be a strong nonverbal approach to express desire and establish intimacy, but it calls for a careful balancing act of confidence. Physical contact is one of the most straightforward methods to express desire, but it must be handled mindfully to make sure that it strengthens the bond rather than creates discomfort. To ensure that your touch is both accepted and appreciated, the Stoics, who are renowned for their wisdom in navigating human situations, would advise that such gestures be based on respect and awareness. The secret to starting touch is to be present and mindful of the moment. Look for opportunities to make light, non-intrusive contact naturally, such as when you're laughing together, sharing a private joke, or highlighting a point in a conversation. These moments should feel natural and unforced, in line with the Stoic principle of living in harmony with the natural flow of events. For instance, when you're showing her something on your phone or handing her a drink, let your fingers briefly brush against hers. These seemingly insignificant touches can help create a sense of intimacy without coming across as intrusive. When you start introducing touch, start with the lightest and briefest of contacts. A quick touch on her hand or a gentle brush of your fingers against hers can show interest while remaining subtle. The Stoics emphasize the value of methodical actions and the strength of nuance. If she reacts favorably by smiling, maintaining eye contact, or not pulling away, this can be interpreted as a sign that she is at ease and open to more touch. Once you have achieved a comfort level, you can progressively increase the frequency and intensity of your touches. In this situation, the lightness of your touch allows her to feel your interest without feeling rushed or overwhelmed. Go from fleeting incidental contact to more intentional gestures, like gently holding her hand for a longer period of time or running your fingertips along the back of her hand. These movements should remain delicate and discreet, adhering to the Stoic principle of moderation. The goal is to gradually increase intimacy so she can get used to it at her own pace. It's important to pay attention to how she reacts at each stage. If she returns the touch by holding your hand, leaning in closer, or making more physical contact, it's a clear sign that she's enjoying the interaction and feels at ease with you. If she pulls away, tenses up, or appears uncomfortable, it's important to respect her boundaries and not push further. The Stoics placed a strong emphasis on self-control and self-discipline, which in this situation is understanding when to back off and give her space. It's also critical to understand the emotional context of your touch. When you touch her hands or fingers, you're expressing warmth, concern, and connection. Physical contact is more than just a mechanical activity. It's a means of expressing your intentions and sentiments. The Stoics believed in the power of intention, so in this situation, your goal should be to give her a pleasant, emotional experience that strengthens your link and makes her feel more at ease. You should also think about the moment and location of your touch. The environment around you can greatly affect how your touch is interpreted. For example, a gentle touch in a private, quiet conversation will probably have a different effect than the same touch in a loud, public setting. The Stoics would advise you to be aware of the situation and make sure your actions are appropriate. Lastly, keep in mind that starting light touch is a delicate process that calls for confidence, attentiveness, and a deep respect for her boundaries and feelings. By being mindful of the moment, starting with brief, subtle touches and gradually increasing the intensity, you can create a sense of intimacy that deepens the connection and enhances her attraction to you. The Stoics would advise that in all things, especially matters of the heart, one must act with wisdom, patience, and a clear intention to build something meaningful and meaningful and meaningful. Lasting Chapter 5. Whisper in her ears. Sitting near to a woman and whispering in her ear is a very personal and powerful approach to establish a stronger bond. Whispering not only draws you closer to one another physically, but the Stoics, who are renowned for their mastery of measured speech and their profound understanding of the power of words, would advise that the content and tone of what you whisper are just as important as the act itself. To start, the timing of your whisper is crucial. It should be a moment when the conversation has already established a level of comfort and closeness. The sound of your voice so close to her ear can send shivers down her spine. This technique, however, requires careful timing, delivery, and a thorough comprehension of the moment to ensure that it has the desired effect. Whispering too soon can feel too close and could make the moment awkward. Perhaps you're sharing a secret joke, or you want to say something private that's only for her to hear. The Stoics emphasized patience and the capacity to read the room, which in this case entails waiting for the ideal moment when whispering feels appropriate and natural. Before leaning in, it's crucial to observe the conversation's flow and emotional tone. When you do choose to whisper, the content of your words is first and foremost. Your phrase should be carefully chosen to strengthen the bond and make her feel unique and valued, regardless of whether you decide to express a compliment, a clever comment, or something that only the two of you understand. When you whisper, your voice should be warm, inviting, and soft to create a sense of intimacy that draws her closer. The way you say something can often have a greater impact than the content itself. A gentle, almost breathy tone can make the moment feel more personal and charged with emotion. The Stoics believed that words had the power to shape relationships, and this is a prime example of how that power can be used effectively. What you say should resonate with her on an emotional level, creating a shared moment that strengthens the bond between you. The Stoics would counsel you to pay attention to how you speak, since it can transmit more than just the words. Your tone should discreetly reveal your interest and appeal. The Stoics believed in moderation in everything, and in this instance it means striking the correct balance between being near to her and respecting her personal space. Your body language is also an important part of the moment as you lean in to whisper. Once you've whispered in her ear, it's crucial to pay close attention to her reaction. If she smiles, laughs, or responds positively, it's clear that she appreciated the gesture and is likely feeling more connected to you as a result. However, if she seems surprised or uncomfortable, it's important to recognize this and modify your approach accordingly. Your goal is to create a moment of connection, not to make her feel crowded or uncomfortable. A slight tilt of your head, a gentle touch on her arm as you lean in, are small gestures that can add layers of meaning to the whisper, making it more than just words. The Stoics held that it's crucial to adjust to the circumstances, which in this case entails paying attention to her reactions and honoring her boundaries. If she appears uncomfortable, it's best to ease off and switch to a more neutral style of conversation. The emotional context of the whisper is another crucial element. When you whisper in her ear, you're not only establishing physical contact, but also sending a message of warmth, care, and intimacy. Whispering is not only a physical gesture, it's a means of communicating emotions and strengthening the emotional bond. The Stoics held that intention had great power, and in this instance, your goal should be to give her a pleasant and private emotional experience. Your whisper should strengthen your emotional bond by making her feel valued and understood. Additionally, the impact of a well-timed whisper can go beyond the immediate moment. It can leave a lasting memory of a private moment that the two of you share, which he may later look back on with fondness. This shared experience can serve as a touchstone in your relationship, something that strengthens the bond between you. In addition to the first whisper, think about the possibility of expanding on this moment with additional whispers throughout your interaction as the evening goes on. The Stoics would recognize the enduring impact of such moments because they understood the significance of developing strong, meaningful relationships through thoughtful and deliberate actions. Using whispers as a recurring motif can help establish an intimate rhythm where each whisper draws her in and strengthens the bond, builds on the previous one, thereby strengthening your relationship. The Stoics valued constancy and tenacity, which in this instance entails continuously reaffirming the relationship through your words and deeds. The Stoics would remind you that in every interaction, especially one as intimate as this one, your words, tone, and intention should all work together to create a positive and lasting impact. By carefully choosing the right moment, speaking in a soft and warm tone, paying close attention to her reactions, and understanding the emotional context, you can make her feel special, appreciated, and drawn to you. When used with confidence and sensitivity, this technique can enhance her attraction and build a stronger, more meaningful bond between you. Whispering in her ear while you're seated close is a powerful and intimate way to deepen the connection and create a memorable experience. Chapter 6. As you continue to establish a rapport through close conversation and subtle cues, read her response. It's important to closely monitor how she responds to your advances. The Stoics, who were keen observers of human behavior, would advise that this step requires patience, awareness, and a deep respect for her feelings and boundaries. Reading her reciprocation correctly is essential to determining whether she is genuinely interested and comfortable with the direction the interaction is taking. Start by paying attention to her body language. If she is leaning closer to you, mimicking your movements, or maintaining eye contact, these are good indicators that she is at ease and may be interested in you. If she is pulling away, on the other hand, these are clues that she is not. Avoiding eye contact or crossing her arms could be signs that she's not as at ease or interested as you had imagined. The Stoics held that in addition to body language, deeds frequently speak louder than words, and that one should be sensitive to the nuances of human interaction. Observe her vocal clues to see if she finds your jokes funny. The Stoics valued open and honest communication, which includes the ability to read between the lines of what is said and unsaid reciprocation. It also includes how she reacts to physical contact. If you've initiated light touches or lean closer to whisper, how does she react? Positive verbal responses show that she's involved in the conversation and enjoys your company. The Stoics taught the value of moderation and self-control, which in this context means not forcing an interaction that isn't mutual. Another factor to take into consideration is the general mood of the interaction. Is she relaxed, smiling, and enjoying herself, or does she seem distracted, tense, or disinterested? Her general vibe can give you important clues about whether she's reciprocating your interest or simply being polite. She reacts if she reciprocates with touches of her own, maintains physical closeness, or even initiates touch. The Stoics held that relationships should be harmonious and balanced, and that part of that balance is knowing when things are going well and when they aren't. Finally, pay attention to her comfort level. Even if she is returning your advances, it's important to make sure she is truly at ease and not just complying out of politeness. The Stoics stressed the value of empathy and comprehension in all dealings. In this instance, it entails being cognizant of her wants and feelings and being prepared to slow down or alter the course if required. By closely observing her body language, verbal cues, and general comfort level, you can determine whether she is interested and comfortable, enabling you to navigate the interaction in a way that respects her boundaries and strengthens your connection. This is known as reading her reciprocation. Chapter 7. Take it further if there is a chance. If you have carefully analyzed her signals and concluded that she is showing interest in you, the next step is to continue the conversation. If the chance arises, this is where things may go from flirtation to something more personal, but it's important to move cautiously and sensitively to make sure that any advances you make are accepted and valued. True wisdom, as the Stoics would tell you, is in understanding when to take action and when to wait, making sure that your choices are appropriate for the circumstances. If the atmosphere feels right, you might think about moving closer or making a bolder gesture like holding her hand or brushing her hair back from her face. The first step in taking things further is to be aware of the moment and look for signs that she's open to deepening the connection, such as lingering eye contact, subtle touches, or a more intimate tone in the conversation. The Stoics held that it was crucial to be totally present and involved in the moment, particularly when choosing to escalate an engagement before taking any important actions. Making sure there is a definite shared interest is crucial. Ask yourself if her actions and words have consistently shown that she's comfortable and interested in you. If there's any doubt or if her signals have been mixed, it's better to err on the side of caution. The Stoics valued prudence and self-restraint, recognizing that it's better to miss an opportunity than to risk overstepping boundaries. If the opportunity does seem right, proceed with confidence but also with care. If you decide to initiate a kiss, for example, do so slowly and gain her response. If she responds positively, you can proceed. If she hesitates or pulls away, respect her boundaries and don't push further. The Stoics believed in the virtue of temperance, acting with moderation and understanding the limits of what is appropriate. It's also important to communicate clearly and honestly. If you're feeling a strong connection and want to take things further, it's okay to express that verbally. You might say something like, "I really enjoy spending time with you," or "I feel a strong connection between us." This not only clarifies your intentions, but also gives her the opportunity to express how she's feeling. The Stoics held, when navigating intimate interactions, it's important to communicate clearly and honestly. Finally, be ready to accept her response, whatever it may be. If she's open to taking things further, great. If not, accept her decision gracefully and without pressure. The Stoics taught us to focus on what we can control, our actions and reactions, rather than trying to control the outcome. If she's not ready or interested, respect her decision and continue to treat her with kindness and respect. In conclusion, taking it further when there is an opportunity involves striking a balance between confidence and respect, making sure that your actions align with her preferences and comfort level by being present in the moment. As this episode comes to a close, it's evident that building a strong connection with someone requires a combination of subtle confidence and respect for each of the strategies we've discussed. By communicating clearly and respecting her boundaries, you can deepen the connection in a way that feels natural and mutually satisfying. To strengthen your relationship and increase attraction, it's essential to sit near, retain attention, start a gentle touch, whisper in her ear, read her reactions, and know when to escalate. The Stoics taught us that knowledge and balance are key components of human connection. By keeping these ideas in mind, you can cultivate sincere and polite relationships in addition to creating meaningful connections. If you thought these insights were helpful, don't forget to watch through to the finish, because the aim is to establish a space of trust and comfort where you and your partner can explore the connection without feeling pressed for time or uncomfortable. Additionally, for more advice and strategies, please subscribe to our channel. Tell us about your own experiences with these strategies in the comments section. Your input enables us to produce content that speaks to you and other people who are working to become masters of connection. We appreciate you being here today, and until we see you again, keep practicing the art of tact and deference in your dealings. I'll see you in the upcoming episode.